Hey, what's good, peoples, man? Before we get this episode started, it'd be dope if you toss us a like, a subscribe, and also don't forget to turn on those bell notifications, man. We truly appreciate it.
You're not my man. You're not my man. You're a genius.
And we are live. What's goody, people? Welcome to another iteration of the Who's Man series from the NotYamanz podcast. This is our series where we interview artists from all different sides of the hip hop or just music spectrum. So definitely check these out. It's dope checking into these things. You get a lot of gems and jewels from underground artists, and you just get a lot of dope information, and you get some fun ass stories. You know, we like to chop it up and bullshit, but me and Reckless today, we got a dope one. This is from, I believe, Reckless's side of the world, putting everybody on. But introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what up? My name is Vinny Vangoh. I'm from San Jose, California. I'm in Los Baños right now, and I make music and I record music.
Hey,
wow. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Something that sound like it's something simple, but it's like, bro, that's a very clutch thing to do. You can. Personally, for me, the recording and like the production side of things is the better side of the music world, because we know how dangerous the hip hop world and shit like that is now, especially when you're a face in the game, and kind of having that back seat where you can still make your ends, to me, is always going to be infinitely better than, you know, being the fucking spotlight and have TMZ and all that extra shit just always coming. So, hey, that's dope, man. Shout out to that. So I wanted to ask, just to start it off, so what do you do in this hip hop stuff? You know, I Reckless puts me onto things a little late, so give me the explanation like somebody who
don't know what you got going on, man.
All right, so primarily I am recording musicians within the area, or anybody that wants to make the trip this way, they can record with me. I started out making music, but now my full time, like what occupies most of my time, is engineering. So I'll just record and make the record sound as good as I possibly can. And as long as the artist is happy, I'm cool with it. So I record people and try to make it sound dope. Simple.
Okay. So that's the main focus, but you've done you've done production. You've even spit and shit like that.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, got that, you know, that Kanye action, that switchblade action.
He's a jack of all trades, this guy right here.
I mean, it's a good thing too. I mean, I know every time I've had before, you know, I started doing all my own studio stuff, I've always liked going into studios with people who've done both sides, because you can kind of tell if you're in the studio with someone who just records and just edits, you know what I'm saying? Rather than someone who's like, let's say like someone who's rapped or kind of a lyricist, or, you know, just has that ear. They're more prone to correct you in the studio, or like give you some tips like, yo, you could do a better take, rather than the person who's just like beep and then they're on their phone and shit like that. You know? Yeah. So it's good to, you know, you can appreciate that type of stuff, because that's only going to make the people you're involved with better. So shout out to that, man. People definitely need to keep their eye open to what you're offering, because there's a lot more than just like, yo, I'm engineering. You know, this is an ear that has experience in essentially 3 important worlds of the music game.
Yeah, I can vouch for that too. I mean, I feel so comfortable when I recorded with you those many years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been a cool experience to like record with him and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? And it shows in the quality of his work.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Thanks, bro.
Because like, I mean, this is a world where the music is it's saturated. Like, this world is like the music world has just got so much going on. So with that, there comes the people who kind of hustle, and, you know, the people who shortchange people. Like, I fucking one time, I threw a dude like a couple, like almost a stack to do like a 5-piece for me. And this fucking dude, I found out he just like threw it through that website Lander as like the mix and master, bro.
Right.
Killed this dude. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, spent no time on it. And it was it's mad disrespectful, because it's like, I couldn't tell if I didn't have that experience to tell like how this shit was done. And I was using Lander for this podcast specifically when it started. Just as a lazy mix. If I couldn't tell, bro, I would have, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, he would have just been okay with that. And other people would have been okay with that. So I exposed the shit out of him. I was like, nah, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Yeah, that's scammy. They're very scammy of him to do.
Yeah, it's very fucked up. And it's like a young artist, though, like, what are they going to do? You know, you're going to trust somebody who's probably been doing it for a while. You know, you're not going to yo, I don't trust this and shit like that. You don't want to and burn bridges. So it's a tough world to get stuck in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've never used Lander, but I know some people that have sent me references from Lander, and they're pretty cool. I guess it's nothing great though. I don't.
It's essentially like for volume, like levels, but it's like you throw it to a website, they run like an algorithm to just level it to like the standard volume, but there's no actual mixing going on. So it's good for like podcasts and stuff because there's one audio, it's just voices. You know what I'm saying? But it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But it's like for a music. Come on, bro.
That's cool. I gotta maybe I'll refer someone to that because someone was asking me to edit some audio, podcast audio for them. Well, actually, they wanted me to cut out some of the breaths in between, so I guess you can't do that with Lander. But I was just like not down to do a podcast I was interested in. Yeah, I didn't want to like. I don't know if my heart's not in it. I don't want to do it because like then I'd rather give someone else the opportunity who's more passionate. A little better.
Yeah, podcast audio is like a lot, especially if it's not like something it's tough with podcast audio because it's like either you're interested or you're not. And like if you're interested in it, you'll miss stuff. But if you're not interested in it, you'll miss stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to
get about boring shit in the podcast or a lot of bullshit you don't care to hear. It's like it's hard.
And then I gotta open my mind a little bit though. But yeah, a lot of it like not too interested in. Well, depending on what it is and who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get like a MAGA podcast, it's gonna be a little hard to edit that shit.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you though, the people that do stuff like that probably got the best equipment. Because I know motherfuckers that would have like really good ideas for like podcasts and shit, but they recording it on their phone and it's like no, like it's a waste, step it up. But
facts.
Either way. But Reckless, you can dive into your questions, sir. I got mine out the way, but I'm gonna have a couple as we go through.
Thank you. So what I want to know is how did you first get into music, bro? Like, do you first get started with the raps or the production? Like, has production always been a predominant thing? Or like, I know you take it more serious now as being an engineer and stuff, but how was the beginning looking like?
It started off I like freestyle with a couple of my friends in middle school. And then after that, I was like, for whatever reason, well, I got into rapping before that, but the digital aspect started in middle school. I was lucky enough to have my mom invest in me at a very young age, and she got me a computer. Like an M audio box and then a microphone, a Perception 120 to be exact, the AKG.
Nice.
And then I started recording myself, rapping. But, as you're recording yourself, you do slowly learn how to engineer. So then that evolved into me getting bored of doing it alone. So I started reaching out to my homies. And I was like, hey, you guys want to come record some music? And if I'm inviting them, I am going to take the step to do the recording. I don't want them to have to be recording themselves. So that's kind of what started everything. It was just, some downtime when I was younger. And so I got into it with
that's right. Gotta let parents know, man. Show interest in what your kids are interested in.
Exactly.
Let them grow. Let them do their thing, man. It's not all about being doctors and stuff like that. All right. For real. let them experience it. Cause that's
cool. Thanks, man.
No, it's fire, man. I never had my mom was never about that. She didn't care about it. She didn't give a shit. So I was just so I got into music. Like what's crazy is I was always been a part of like music, like cultures and scenes. Like I've been going to shows my whole life. I used to record shows. I've been in bands, but I never like learned music until like later in my life. Gotcha. But I've always been rapping and writing poetry and doing stuff, but that was just all on my own. So I was winging it. But then when I hit, a point where I had like adult money and I was like, I'm going to take piano lessons. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, bro, I love this shit. Like I wish I started, when I was young. I wish I had an opportunity. But that's dope, man. That's dope.
Okay.
And how did you come up with the name Vinny Vangoh? Big fan of the arts or what?
Vinny Vangoh. Originally, I was going by a different name when I was younger. It was Vinny Mac. And I got into a relationship at the end of high school. And I'm still with my girl to this day. And at first, I felt a little bit kind of like fraud. I didn't want to be Vinny Mac, but I'm like, I'm really committed to this relationship. I'm holding it down. So I don't want to portray a different image that I'm not really backing up. So I was like thinking, and then she thought very first name she thought of, she said Vinny Vangoh. And I was like, wow, that works. It's the same initials as my government too. So I was like, okay, I'll run with it. And then since then, yeah, she made it up in like less than 5 seconds. I had no idea how, but
That's a pop, that's his name.
She loved you.
And then I just kind of like try to just grow into the name and make sure like everything's more artful. I don't know. I didn't really try too much, but it started growing into me, like leading me.
Give it like some sort of image that you can attach to. Like, your stuff. I'm not mad at that. Hey, that's dope, man. Hey, that what's cool too is like I'm a big fan of when people get dubbed their names. I mean, it's cool to like think of a name and like all that stuff, but when you get a name like given to you from someone, it's from a whole different place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to name yourself.
Oh my God, I know.
Because you don't want to sound too cocky, or you don't want to sound like this. You don't want to give off the wrong thing. But someone giving it to you, it's like, bro, they felt something that they were like, nah, cool for you, you know. So it's like, hey, that stays in stone, you know, once you keep it that way. So that's dope.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And talk about your early music history, getting into projects and stuff. As my research, I found an album called The Bloodline with Chaos. How was it like making that project? And was that the first project, or was that like just one of many?
I would say that's the first. That's like my only official project, I would say. I did 2 mixtapes in high school where it was just like grabbing beats. If you listen to Bloodline, I'm pretty sure there's a couple Purchase Your Tracks today. I'm not sure if there is, but I think there is. So, but I mean, I guess I still call my official because I had help from somebody who had heard my previous projects. He was a family friend. He reached out to me in a YouTube comment, and he was like, "You guys are dope. Do you want to come use my studio?" And we were recording in my shed. So I was like, "Yeah, let's go use the studio." He had a cool studio. So Bloodline is the first. That's like the most recent project I've dropped, which is very dated. Like, I don't even know, 10 years. I don't know. But
yeah, a little more than 10.
A little more than 10? Yeah, it's been some time, bro. Yeah, that's a cool piece. I like that. That was a cool project. Experimented a lot with my sound in there.
Nice.
Cool, man. You still in touch with Chaos or not?
Yeah, that's my cousin. So we're tapped in very strong.
Good.
Good.
That's dope.
And why did it take a while? How come you haven't put out any other project after that, bro? Was it like, just got dove in too much into the engineering side, or what's going on?
That's a good question, man. I did start picking up engineering a lot heavier. And I kind of, when I first got with my girl, I stopped doing a lot of music. For whatever reason, I was just very invested, and I was like shelving on my other stuff because I was super interested. That was my first relationship. So I was like, let's just go in with it. And so I took a break, and I would say I kind of slowed down a little bit with momentum. And then I would just kind of get back into it doing singles. But I started recording, and that seemed to be a little bit more like beneficial for me. I enjoyed it more because sometimes writing, it would take kind of a while sometimes. I still drop singles like in between, but I did want to just start putting my energy into engineering and learning how to be quicker and more efficient within Pro Tools. So engineering did just start taking up like majority of my time after that.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sound to be clean, and that's dope too, because like eventually, I mean, is there a plan for like eventually, like once you feel, is there going to be like a level where you're like, all right, my engineering is so dope that I'm about to put out something crazy just to get it out there, just to flex the engineering and the music shit?
Man, I did drop a couple projects, but they're not the same. But I did drop some like 3-track projects, like 3-track projects last year. It's cool. I just don't I don't really like recording myself too much because like it's cool. I've done it. All my stuff like recently is all recorded myself, but I just start kind of like getting too lonely in there. It's just me in there, and I'm like hitting record and then running back and forth, and I'm like, this don't feel how it used to feel with me like vibing with the people. I mean, but you gotta be able to stand solo strong. So I figured that out, but I was just like, let me take a step back.
Yeah. No, sometimes you got to be in that mood too. It's tough, man. I had to force myself to record something every day just to get like a rhythm, because I know if I don't, I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so it's like you got to force yourself at some point. And it's not to say that I don't love it, but you miss that studio vibe. Like that's one thing I think the pandemic fucked with me with was like, man, as much as I got a nice setup here, I love just chilling in the studio, bro. And you can't recreate that shit. It's like different.
That's crazy, man. How did the pandemic affect you? Like, I know, like, probably recording was a hell, like, to get it, to get up and running again.
So at first, like, I enjoyed like the time I was able to spend at home, you know, and everyone was like, "Nah, we can't go out." So I was kind of using it as like it was a really cool like excuse to be like chilling at the crib all day. And I was like, man, we can't, you know, we'll get sick out there. So I was just chilling. I started gaming a lot, and then and my girl, so we started doing that for a while. But eventually, I got bored of chilling at home. Everybody started like slowly opening up a little bit, but I was like trying to find new ways. Like I kind of started taking steps into like content creation and like doing videos and trying to participate in like doing giveaways or giving out tips or stuff. It's not like natural with me to do that, but that pandemic led me to get a little out of my comfort zone because I still wanted to make moves in a time where everyone didn't necessarily feel like we had to, you know, like everyone was chilling, which I was too, but I was like, I need to do something. I had to find a way. So I was doing like remote sessions for people, very few people, like 2 people. So it was cool though. It was fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the pandemic, everyone hit a point where there was just this feeling of like, yo, I could take advantage of this time. You know, like everyone at first is like, yo, the world is quiet. We're all going to chill. I don't got no FOMO, no fear of missing out. I'm chilling. Yeah. And then everyone gets hit at one point where it's like, I need to come out this pandemic like 10 levels further than, you know what I'm saying? I need to get fucking busy. And I enjoyed that about the pandemic. Like I even, you know, with my setup, like I got an MPC X, you know, the MPC. I was like, I'm about to fucking get this. And then I told myself, I'm like, I'm going to pay this off with what I make with this. You know what I'm saying? And I went off with it and I'm glad I did because that was a dope investment. And then it was like, I started trying to have like every now and then, like I, built like with like pipes, built like a little booth. And I was like, yo, come through, record. You know, I was trying to get shit moving, but it was like I was inspired because I saw like comedians performing on rooftops and, backyard and people just doing a lot of shit that like felt taboo, but it felt like, some underground shit, like because the world wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was exciting about the pandemic. And it was like, fuck that normalcy. Like, even though doing something that, a year or two before was normal, the fact that it didn't feel normal, it just gave you this, it was like a new breath of life. So pandemic was wild, man.
You made a booth out of pipes, like the PVC pipes? You structured it?
And then I had, I made the PVC pipes. I still have it too. I use it every now and then for like if people are looking to record in the open, and I got like moving blankets, a bunch of zip ties. Yeah,
dude, that's all you really need, bro. Other stuff is very nice to have, but that as long as you're not, bouncing your vocals off the wall, like in here, I don't know how my mic sounds. I don't got no treatment in here, but but yeah, bro, that's cool. I did a booth kind of like that, but I didn't frame it out. I had some thick ass like foam panels that I got from a friend of mine. His name is Rico. He used to have a studio called The Sound Theory. And when he shut his studio down, he blessed me with like, his studio was like $50K. He told me he was going to sell it to me for $50K, but I was like, that was way too much money for me. I was like, what? And, but he gave me all the styrofoam. So then originally, like, I built a booth, just like stacked the styrofoam on top of each other. And it was like almost like a fort, you could say.
Nice. Hey, whatever works.
It worked. Yeah, we recorded a lot of music in there. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it gets the job done. I mean, when I had the little booth thing, I was like hyped about it because I was like, I got time. I had time. Yeah. So I ordered a bunch of pipes. I started cutting shit up. I bought like the little corner pieces and I made it like and now it's in the corner, but I could put together whenever I need. And it's a nice little booth. Yeah, I got like the long cables for my mic and the headphones. And I'm like, so whenever I have people here, and if they're a little shy to just do it, because this room, it gets good sound, like nothing's bouncing like crazy. But like if I have someone here who some people can't record just right next to someone out in the open. Yeah, whole different confidence. So it's like, hey, fuck it, I still use it. So it was also a good investment. It was cheap too. Like I didn't realize you could buy PVC pipe just like that cheap.
That's cool. Yeah, you learn some like good building skills, I bet too. Show yourself that you can do. That's cool. Yeah. I felt that's one thing the pandemic taught me. I was making mad shit. I was making like foods from scratch, doing a lot. But I had time, bro. I was just reading. I was reading and watching YouTubes and shit. I was like,
everyone became a chef and a home improvement fucking expert. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
So, what were your influences, rapping wise and production wise? Like, who were the great producers that you looked up to and shit?
So I was thinking about this. I was kind of like anticipating this question. I didn't think about it enough, but I'll tell you, like off the top, when I was really coming into it, I liked 50 Cent. I liked Kanye.
Shit.
Wista. I don't know. I'm not really good with like referencing to like the years, but it was in that era. I kind of like that music of that era. And as I was growing up, that was like kind of like some of the higher level stuff that I would call higher level because it was on the radio and I was like kind of looking up to the radio. So artist wise, it was them. I don't think my sound sounds anything like them, but like I just appreciated like the high quality content they're giving us for our ears. You know, it was cool. And I would feel like what they're saying, I'd be able to kind of like almost like feel like I'm living what they're saying a little bit. That was far from what I live, but that was cool. Producers, one of my favorite producers, I like Cardo Got Wings. He's super cool. And then it was like a sound click era. So like there was this guy named Johnny Giuliano. He was dope. Scarecrow Beats was dope. But there's a lot of people coming up, but
I remember the sound.
Yeah, you remember SoundClick? But SoundClick was nuts.
That was a good era, man.
That was nuts.
The Shadowville.
Oh yeah, you said Shadowville?
Yeah, I used to get a lot of beats from them.
I heard that name before too. Man, there's a lot of people on there. That was cool.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. And like, you ever have your shit on there? On the SoundClick? You have a profile on there?
I never made it to SoundClick, but I found SoundCloud shortly after, so then I just went to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But I wasn't into producing back then. I'm barely into producing. I have like my moments where I'll like binge on producing, but then I do get burnt out and I'm like, okay, it's kind of tough. However, like I did that same thing you were doing with making something every day.
Yeah.
And I noticed that my production from day one of that month, to like maybe like the first week, I picked up a bunch of new like confidence in what I was doing and a little more like flow, I would say, with the producing. And it wasn't so like basic because sometimes I'd make beats, stop, and then I'd listen to them. I'd be like, it's kind of like standard, typical beat. But I was like, I started getting out of that, like conforming to attempt a certain type of sound. And then I was just being more free with it.
Yeah.
The beats haven't got used yet, so I don't know if people are vibing with them, but I still enjoy them. So I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the good phase. Cause like cause like I remember when I first got this MPC, I was like, all right, let's do some boom bap. All right, let me try some trap. Let me try this. And then like a few months down the line of just being consistent, being on it for like almost 2 hours a day, I had a crazy workflow where I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a beat off of this, or I'm gonna sample this. And then next thing you know, I'm watching fucking hours of like tribal videos on YouTube. Like, oh, this shit sound hard. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, then it got, it got really fun, and you start to get that workflow, and then, you don't really, because I was doing a lot of YouTube University to learn some things. And then once you get your own flow, then that stuff doesn't matter. Then you're in your bag, and then you start having fun with it. And that's that's music though. Like that's the beauty of music. Like it just keeps getting better. That's why I tell people when they plateau or if they just keep doing the same thing, it's like, bro, you're doing yourself a disservice because the music's not gonna wait. Music can always change and always get better. So it's like, fuck it. Keep doing what feels good. Just keep trying. Like keep fucking around with shit. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, start again. No one will know.
You're right.
Yeah.
And when it came to like recording, and you had like an extensive amount of people who recorded, like I remember the first time I went to your studio in San Jose, I was there with like a Lazy Boy, Cuddy Banks, and a bunch of different artists. Rest in peace. What's been your most notable artist or your favorite like artist to record with and stuff? Where you have any cool stories you can tell us?
Lazy Boy, the cool artist to record with. He's one of the first people that kind of that I've seen pick up the punch-in method. And he was one of the first people, aside from seeing Lil Wayne do it, but he would just on spot think of his vocals, think of the lyrics and go. So that was kind of fun. I like recording Cuddy Banks because he was like such a cool vibe to be around. And like he's the first person I heard push ad libs personally, like in my studio, that were not your A's and your Yo's. Like he was putting such like melody in his ad libs, and I was like, at first, it was almost like kind of funny. Not that it wasn't sounding dope, but I was just like, oh man, this guy's like really pushing like some heart out, and I was like, it caught me a little bit off guard because he had like a lot of heart. So hearing it in the vocals was like, oh, that's nuts. Yeah, a lot of people have such creative skills with like the recording process. I like recording with my boy Rez. I'm not sure if you guys have seen him yet, but he's dope. He's cool. He records with autotune, but he does this interesting thing where he will mute his mic, which a lot of people do, but I think it's kind of difficult to do autotune with your mic muted to not be able to hear how your voice reacts to the autotune instantly. But he just hears it out. He's like, play it back, and then he corrects it himself, mic muted, and then I'm like, okay, that's dope. And then so that's cool.
That's dope. That's unique. But that's dope. It's his process.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of artists. Everyone has cool food. Everyone has it. I'm already leaving out a bunch of people, but I'll just keep it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That's cool though.
But that's the type of shit too that like pushes things forward too. Like I always appreciate artists that do things like that, because like I've always made fun of cats who always want to do the one take Drake shit, and it's like it's cool from like a confidence thing and like a lyricist thing, but it's like, bro, imagine if all your favorite movies, like imagine if Marvel movies was just like one take, baby, one take.
God.
A lot of fucking madness, and it's like, bro, that's the point of a recording. If you want to do that shit live, by all means, yes, it's gonna hit different live. Yeah. But in the studio, it's like this is where you can make magic. Like there is no boundaries.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. Sure. So like shit like ad libs and stuff like that, like it, yeah, I can imagine like it does get crazy. One of my homeboys, Dunce Cap, shout out to Dunce Cap, he is nuts, but I used to always laugh when we go to studio because he would make crazy noises, and he was very big fan. Like it kind of like, remember how like the old D12 era and like M used to always have them crazy ad libs. So he would do shit like that, make crazy noises, and it's funny when you hear them recording, but then when you hear it on the track, it makes sense. And you're like, oh, and that kind of shit, like that's the art itself. And that's something that like you gotta understand, like that kind of detail, and that just, you gotta be passionate about something to make something like that work. Or even punching in lines, like not everything has to be one take. Like sometimes it sounds better if you just punch in that extra line that you keep losing your breath at because you want it to sound consistent, clean,
Or you add layers to certain hooks or bars or whatever.
Melodies, bro. Melodies, like you need it. Like if you're doing some, like especially with the new trap sound, you need those melodies. You know what I'm saying? That's bring that life. That's like fucking hip hop tracks without a bass line, bro. You need it. You need it.
Right.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
definitely. And not to name, you don't have to name any names or nothing, but like, have you ever had a bad experience recording an artist? And if you haven't, what would you do in the event that would happen? Like, you have this terrible attitude or whatever have you, just terrible experience. How will you deal with that?
I've been fortunate enough to not record any artists at least, or, maybe I just don't notice it, but no one usually has a terrible attitude. But I have had sessions go south because my gear has been slow. And we do finish it, and if not, like I will compensate them somehow, give them their money back, and still give them the project. Because like, bro, that kills a vibe if your computer's freezing up. Like that's one of the that actually like that will make me feel like bad afterwards, and I'm like a little bit like sad. Like I'm like, damn, like I don't know how I'm gonna get back to recording. That shit hurts a little bit. But artist wise, in the studio, everyone's cool. I have had some artists be out of the studio and do stuff that like I don't like. I've had artists throw up outside of the studio and then just dip. And I didn't know that. And I found out later from the studio owner, and he was like, bro, your guy did this. And then, but fortunately, he hit me back and he paid the cleanup fee. So I was like, all right, that's cool. And then, but outside the studios where usually I've been recording in like home studios. I barely got my own studio here in Los Baños. But prior to that, I was at my friends' places renting it from them. So when people like disrespect their place, bro, I hate it because it's like, oh man, you're representing me, and like, that's just the worst, and maybe they're cool with it, but
it's unprofessional, and it's not a good look.
Very professional.
Yeah, but in the studio, What happened?
No, I just say you feel away afterwards.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So then that might keep me from responding to your next, hey, can I get in the studio? I will definitely, I might, I don't know. I'll respond and say no sometimes, but sometimes I'm just like, nah, I won't open it and I'll just leave it. I'm like, nah, I'm not ready for that yet. Maybe when I'm feeling more like composed and I'm, feeling more okay to like forgive them. But forgiveness is, very good. So I know shit happens. So, but sometimes I'm still a little bit like salty and like a little petty, like, man, I don't know. I didn't really like that. So that will keep me from like accepting, sexually some people.
That's true. You got to respect yourself too. If they're not respecting your time and yourself, like who else is gonna, you know what I'm saying? You got to put the line, put your foot down. Like, yo, you didn't respect my time last time. I can't exactly give you that pass again. It goes to, you're a liability. You're like all this shit. So can't do that.
Yeah. I did find out like, I was very like, I was very avoidant. I avoided confrontation a lot and addressing some things, but I realized like, if you just tell people, it can prevent it from happening again next time, or people will understand. You got to let them know how to, how you like to be treated. And if they understand that, they could apply themselves correctly. And there's no like, repressed feelings that I have, because it's unnecessary. It's better to communicate and let people know how you're feeling. So things will continue running smooth. That's why, so I don't have to feel like I'm ducking somebody or feel like I'm leaving somebody hanging because, for whatever reason.
Yeah. That's just good etiquette in general. Like if you keep it straight up and straightforward, then more than likely you're going to get that respect back. You know what I'm saying? It's very unlikely someone's going to, unless they came in with the mentality to do some slick shit. Yeah. Most likely you're going to get that respect back. And that's a lot of, I mentioned earlier, like you got to watch out for certain people who take advantage of certain people and certain people who do, scammy type shit. Like I've had, nightmares from like, I've heard of, because I would lose my mind. But like I've had artists tell me about like times they go to the studio, someone records them and damn near holds their stuff ransom. Like, oh, I want this much money to send it to you, and shit like that, like more money than the actual studio time. And like, it's just shit like that. Or like one of my homegirls, shout out to her, and she was recording with this dude, and just because it was at his studio, he was like, yeah, this can only be released with my name on it. So like her first 4 releases have this dude's name on it, and I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? When she dropped it, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And she's like, oh, those are the rules of the studio. I'm like, that's a scam. Yeah, he already own your masters and like your sounds. Like that's fucking crazy.
Engineers, we get paid so much up front. Like, you do not need to mention engineer. If you do, it's awesome. But like, we're getting paid up front for that reason. We shouldn't be trying to nickel and dime the artists, because it's fucking expensive. Like, it's expensive, and that's kind of just like, this guy just a little bit moochy, I think. And it's not right. I want the artists to get the spotlight they deserve. It's not about like trying to tag on and clout chase with the artist. Like, oh, I'm the engineer. Like, if they put you in the credits, though, I love it. And I would tell people, can you throw me in the credits? But if they didn't, they didn't. But like, I never want to force my way onto someone's project.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. Oh, we got a question from the comments from Cassidy Ray.
1 a.m.
So
how do you feel and handle when you're recording someone who sounds bad and won't take helpful criticism? You kick them out. Nah. Yeah. You tell them no, and you start hitting fucking flex horns and trash buttons. Nah.
Yeah.
Now, how would you handle that, Vinny?
So like, I think I got a little bit like, kind of like a certain way recording people, and I might be overly suggestive in my beginning of my career. And I realized like I'm taking a little bit too much, because like engineer isn't the producer, you're not the writer, so I had to find my lane very fast, and I did. And I realized like I was kind of hesitant to offer criticism, because I wanted the artists to put their sound out as much as they wanted to. So like, just because it doesn't make sense to me doesn't mean it won't make sense to somebody. Even if it doesn't make sense to somebody, it makes sense to them. So that enough is like for me to trust their sound. However, once they open up to like asking my opinion on something, or if they're like, what would you do? I will give my criticism. I mean, not criticism. Yeah, my advice or my input. And, I'm not like, I haven't made it, so I don't know if my advice is like necessarily the one, but I'm like, sometimes I hear people maybe like say a word, a different tone. I'm like, if you did this, it could be cool. And if they try it, they like it, cool. But if they don't, like, I don't know. I mean, I ain't trying. It's their songs, their baby, you know? So like my goal is to bring their vision to life how they planned it, not how I see it as an engineer. Unless I'm like paying for their session and I'm hosting it and, you know, I'm in a place where they're understanding that I want to contribute to the production side of it. But for the most part, like that's not my role to criticize their music or give too much advice. But there are artists that I'm more comfortable with and I will give unsolicited advice. But I catch myself like, all right, this is not my song. Like, let me dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good balance that comes with that. It's like a lot of it can be chemistry. A lot of it can be like if you're feeling the song and you kind of hear what they're hearing, then it's like, yeah, like that advice, obviously it's going to make sense. But there's some artists that like, you know, like you're just not hearing what they're hearing because it might not be your bag. It might not be something you've dove into. They're probably putting you on to something new. So it's like, how are you going to know if you're immediately trying to put it in your comfort zone? You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, you gotta get uncomfortable and figure out what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
I trust them to lead us for sure.
Yeah, it's a game. But like, then again, you know, there's some artists who who are a little insecure in the studio and they don't know where they're at too. And that's, you know, but that's part of it.
In those situations, when I see someone a little bit lost or like, you know, a little bit kind of like getting overwhelmed, I will try to break it down into smaller sections. And like, that is where a lot of the times if people trying to do one takes, they can get frustrated after like the fifth take of not one taking it. And then the takes from there can start going south because they start getting a little bit frustrated with themselves, you know, that they didn't hit it and like they're embarrassed. But I'm like, yo, this is what I live for. Like, this is not embarrassing. Like, I don't think that's bad, bro. Like, I understand you want the one take, cool, but like, I will, if someone keeps missing one takes, I will be like, you want to try punching in? And I love punching in. I think it's cool, but
hell
yeah, way better.
You make it sound, you could like, there's a difference between like, it can sound clean with one take, but like punching in, you can make it sound perfect. Like if you have it exactly away in your head, you can deliver it perfectly. Especially like, I like to think of it as when I punch in, I'm like method acting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that punch in is like action. And then you go right into the role. You know, you don't need to walk into it. You're right there. So it's like after that, man, that music gonna sound, you gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna sound clean. You know, that's how like a radio shit sound like that. Like, you think this motherfucker Meek Mill is just in the studio yelling the whole time? Yeah, he'd be fried if he was just in there fucking yelling full takes. Like, no, his voice would be gone, bro. Like, no.
Definitely. And to any upcoming engineers or studio creators or anything, like what advice would you give to them starting up? And what's a pet peeve you have in the studio?
Oh, two-piece.
Okay. So the advice I would give to them. All right. Advice that has helped me has been kind of like to know that it's their song, their project, their time. Though I'm helping, like, you know, the goal is to have the song meet their expectations. And you don't always got to show out and show every single cool trick, you know, as an engineer on every session. Like, it's not about the engineer to like show your cool shit. Like they, you know, if the artist wants some sauce and they ask for extra and you got some that you could apply, do it. Or if they're like, whatever you have, once artists like say, do whatever you think, I love that. But
yeah, because then you could get busy.
Yeah, then I'm like, you said the words, you said it. That's a smart word to say. Like, let me handle it from here. Definitely, like, I want my artists to feel comfortable, so I try not to like go faster than them. I let them set the pace, and I will just match their pace and work at their flow. That's what I've found is the most beneficial, like during the sessions. And then, second question you had was,
what's your pet peeve in the studio?
I don't like people hitting me up 5 minutes before the studio session saying they're barely on their way and it takes like 30 minutes or 40 minutes to get to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you tell me you're going to be late and I can like accommodate a late session and I can move things around. But I appreciate like a heads up, but I just don't like the inconsiderate, like, you know, and then it's a weird situation. Like I'm like, I'll give you like, if you're 15 minutes and I could do it, like, I won't be like, yeah, I'm not going to take those 15 minutes out of your session. I will add it to the end and give you those 15 minutes because, I'm a self business. So it's not like I'm okay with it. Like I'll chill for 15 minutes. Like, but if it's like 30 or 45, it's just a little bit like inconsiderate. And
because it can mess up your future business. Yeah. It can mess up like another session.
Yeah, exactly. So being inconsiderate, pet peeve, best advice, work at the artist's pace. It's about them and help them feel comfortable in the studio. And yeah, that's what I think.
Hey, that's good advice, man. I tell people all the time, I'm like, bro, just be on time. Like it's not gonna fucking kill. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause we're, I guess I'm very old school, but it's like, yo, as men, like as people, like be about your word, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all we got. Like, fuck all the money, all that shit. Like our word is what we got. You know what I'm saying? That's
Even if you don't subscribe to that train of thought, if you're really about this, music should be at the place you're supposed to be at the time you say you're gonna be at. You know what I'm saying? If you're real about it.
That shit. I think it was Akon said about Eminem, and he was like, Eminem only is in the studio from like 8 to like 4, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna come through the studio, and he was like, all right, bet, what time? And he was like, oh, like 9, and like M left for the day. It was like, well, you got to come in during my time. Like this is, and it's like, yo, you got to be professional like that. Like you have to set that boundary, or just to be early. You know what I'm saying? We got another question. How long do you hold on to sessions and stems for artists?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is good.
Yeah, I will hold them until I pass away. I have no idea. I haven't deleted nothing. The only time I lose sessions is if the hard drive crashes, which has happened once. But yeah, it happened once, and it had a very important. It was like one of the biggest like songs I've been a part of at the time. I was so excited. It was a song with Lazy Boy, and he had a Filthy Rich verse. We recovered it. So that's cool. Somehow I like chopped it up from like the MP3 or, like did something to make it work. But to lose that session and like, it feels so bad to lose sessions, but I will hold sessions to this day. I think I have all my sessions. I did lose one hard drive from like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, but I got everything else.
See,
I did some from my Gmail though, because, like it's just a space and like, sometimes I'm like, I hope they got them downloaded. It's been a couple years. Like I have deleted one, and this guy was like, "Hey, bro, don't be deleting my shit." And I was like, "Whoa!" I feel it though, like I feel it, but I can still send it to him. You can just tell me to send it to him. You don't gotta be all like turn at me sideways. But,
bro, what the fuck is that?
Yo, that shit's scary. That shit is very scary. I used to I'm a big music guy, big like into the hardcore scene and stuff. And I used to collect a lot of demos and like CDs and stuff like that. Yeah. And I always save them on hard drives. And I remember I had one hard drive break on me. I probably was like 18 years old, but this was like years of music. And it's music that like I still can't find all of it. So I was like, never again. So I've been like a part of Dropbox since the beginning. And even to the point where like as in like in my artist shit, like every year I'll charge maybe 3 artists like for a feature just to pay the Dropbox fee. Once that's paid, it's like, all right, everybody gets 3 features. But I do the business Dropbox every year and it's like 2 terabytes. So I have everything. And I do everything from the cloud and you can access it from wherever. And I don't have to worry about, because I do also still save stuff on hard drives, but it's just like I need that extra security because it's like,
That's the great stu. Everyone told me, bro, you got to have a backup to your backup.
Yeah, always.
I got to do that still. I am gambling by only having one drive with everything. It's very like now that we're talking about it, it's a little bit irresponsible of me to be doing.
Shit, you might have to go to Best Buy after this interview.
No fact. Hey, I'm telling you, Dropbox is good too if you want something like some space. Yeah, I do like the regular business Dropbox. It's like 100, it's like 120 a year, and it's 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes on the web. You could put it on the phone app. I dish out emails even with like Reckless. I send stems that way. I keep and I'm that organized. But it's like that's where I keep it.
That's right. Okay, I gotta check it out. And at that point, I would wonder, like, I guess I would just probably throw everybody on there for now. Why not? Otherwise, I have to email them or message them and then wait for them to respond. And sometimes, like, I lose, like, kind of like that same feeling I had if it takes too long to respond. It's like a small window. But
yeah. Then the energy.
I gotta work on that personally. Like, people got other things to do, so I gotta be considerate and give them time. I learned that.
Yeah, not true. It's that's part of this is the stuff that like people don't talk about. Like, this is all part of the game. This is the game that we play. It's not as easy as I'm gonna record songs. I made a song. Like, I'm famous. I'm an artist. Like, there's a lot of back and forths. There's a lot of there's a lot of shit that go into it. There's a lot of keeping your sanity and keeping your shit together, and like there's so much that goes into it. That's why, like, I always tell Reckless, even just with every venture I do, I write shit down. I can't do stuff without writing it down because I have to keep it organized or else I'm lost,
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you saw my Dropbox, I got verses that I recorded when I was like fucking, on like them old flip phones, bro. And I saved like the audio to an email. It's crazy, but I have everything. Every feature verse I've ever done is organized with everyone's name. And it's just like, what's going to happen in the future? You know what I'm saying? People just need my Dropbox if I get God and they want to put out a little
song in this album and shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, little album for me. They'll be
I'm actually not jealous of that. I wish I had my old shit. I lost a lot of files back then.
I have everything. I have every studio session for like my first fucking mixtape, like everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
man, I lost all that shit.
That's very organized of you, bro. That's a very good like discipline you have, because that's not easy to do, bro.
No.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, but it pays off, like I keep like my sample, everything, like my beats, everything. And I'm just like, yo, it's in the cloud. So if I need something, I could just access it. I don't have to, sort through shit. Like, I look up the person's artist name. And it's good too with Dropbox that I like is since I got like so much space, if I make a folder and I share it with someone and they can use some of my space. So if I send Reckless, like if I have a me and Reckless folder and he wants to do stems and all sorts of stuff, I'll save it for him. Like, he could save it in the Dropbox and it goes into my his. So it's
that's right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it keeps everybody organized. Look at this. She said, I got files all the way from 2016.
Yeah.
And you delete a lot of shit too, so that's impressive. So, favorite part of this interview, brother. Tell me your top 5 favorite artists of all time and your top 5 producers of all time.
Ooh.
Oh damn! I should have thought about them.
I got my own question, my own interview, so you're in good company.
Yeah. Let me think. You got my Spotify real quick. Hold on. I'll tell you I'll go off like
they got the Spotify's, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. Right out top. What do I listen to?
Great.
Lately, I got onto listening to Vince Staples. He's got a really cool sound. I fuck with Vince Staples.
Which Vince Staples? Which new or old?
Future or now?
So I guess I don't know how old. The oldest for me is North.
Yes.
Is it older? Okay, North was cool, and then
he had the tape, but like that, the summertime, that Vince Staples was peak.
That. Do you like his new music, like his melodic stuff?
Some of it. I'm not some of it, but it's he made it very clear he was doing stuff for festivals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not fully, like all of it's not fully my bag, but some of it, I'm not mad at it. The dude's a dope lyricist. I just back in the the summertime, like North days, he was rapping. Like
that was a cool sound, bro. His beats were sounding crazy.
Yeah,
let's see what else I've been fucking with. I listen to a lot of music. Let's see who else is dope. I mean, like when I was like, I really liked Currency for a little bit, but I just kind of like not listen to him as much. But I don't know if I can put him in my top. Let's disregard that. Hold on.
The same music. You put out the same music time.
It's just like a different, same vibe, different times. Same vibe, different times.
Yeah. Same down, different title.
Yeah. I'm not mad at him for that. He found a bag that he likes.
On weed, that shit fire.
But I really like one of the artists I really like coming up, and he was I'll put him in my top 5 too, is Blue from Blue in Exile.
Oh yeah.
Blue. And that whole Blow the Heavens project was like probably one of the best projects I've heard, and I listened to it maybe like a year straight. I still listen to it to this day. Like I got the likes in there, and when they pop up, I run it back if I need to hear a song again. I put Blue. Shit, let's see what else is up in here. Mac Miller. Mac Miller's dope. I was fucking with Mac Miller from Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, and then I fell off listening to him. And then after he passed away, I listened to Circles. What was it called? Swimming?
Oh, we had like the white cover and shit.
Yeah, where he's sitting like it almost looks like an airplane, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, we're talking about.
That was a cool album. So I like that. Who else? We had 3 right there.
That's 3.
Easy Mac with the cheesy raps. He grew on. I didn't start liking him until Macadelic. Everything before Macadelic, I was very weird with. I wasn't like a fan of Party and all that stuff. And then once Macadelic came out, I was like, oh, he's starting to develop. And then music.
I like that when I saw him live at the Hot Future Carnival. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this guy's music a chance. He did a great show.
I caught like 3 shows from that Good AM tour, and I was living. I was like, this is fantastic. I was like,
that's lucky, bro. I wish I would have caught one. That's sick. That's sick. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah.
I like Quavo. Quavo's dope. I'm not sure it was my top 5. We go like 5 people I fuck with for sure.
The top 5 usually boils down to who you're listening to currently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I started listening to. It was very random, but I also listen to Payroll Giovanni. He's kind of cool. He's got like a very like summertime.
Yeah, he's smooth, and he gets it done. He'll say some slick shit too every now and then, but everything as far as his delivery and production's wild smooth, man. I fuck with Payroll.
And he's sweet. Oh yeah, Ski Mask. I like Ski Mask's music too. Ski Mask is dope.
Mask, there you go.
He hasn't done anything in a minute, man. He been hiding for a bit.
But I like that new sound of like the higher energy is really dope, because after I was listening to that for a while, it was very hard for me to listen to other music, but I finally got back to it. But I was like, I needed that stuff that made me like bounce, like that kind of vibe. And I was like, it was like a new drug, and it was like hard to find stuff to match that feeling. But I tapered off, and I was like able to transition back into hearing everybody dope. Right? Was that 5? I don't know if that's 5. But
yeah, that was 6.
But now the producers, brother.
Yeah.
I like Cardo. I like that whole everything he did with Wiz back in the day was super cool. And to this day, he still has a cool sound. Like, he's dope. Who do I like?
Cardo was fire.
Damn.
Let me see if he says it's great.
Never been a fan of like Wiz Khalifa, but I can't hate on the beats. Can't hate on.
I sometimes when I'm not chiefing, I'm like, okay, it's a weed song, but I don't know. I think what helps is also like he's got some cool swag, so like I fuck with that. It kind of helps the understanding for me for his music, but it's not too crazy like the sound. Alchemist got some cool beats.
Alchemist, there you go.
He got some cool beats. These brain farts are real, bro.
It happened with these Les Holmes.
I'll throw Scott Storch. Scott Storch, he made a lot of like the classics growing up when I was younger. Yeah, so for sure Scott Storch was up there.
Yeah, Storch.
I like Metro Boomin. I don't know if he is an independent producer or if he is like outsourcing for stuff, but I like his sound because he has a cool bounce. Yeah, who else I like? And there's someone I know that I'm missing, but and then I'll throw it in there. I like Kanye West beats too. I like how he produces.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a wide style. Like, yeah, it's cool. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, obviously this is a sample from the beginning. That sound he made, I loved it. I think that's his. He created that, right? I don't know if other people speaking of samples.
Soulful sound, like that when he did like Commons B and he did like the Black Star stuff and like all he like changed. Like, he didn't do all the Black Star, but he did a few things with like Mos Def and stuff. But like that was his sound. That was like his era.
Yeah, I appreciate that sound. It's one of my favorites. Very easy.
That sound will never, even if it's done now, it'll never not sound good. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those, like, it always sounds timeless.
Yeah, it's timeless sounding beats that I was master of back in the day.
Yeah, like those sounding beats, I'll always, like, no matter what, I'm like, oh, this beat fucking hits. You know, whenever it's just got like a dope, soulful fucking sample and some crazy, you know, chunky drums on there, it's like, yo, this is special. It always gives that vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you ever like Mac Miller's production?
Fire.
He made beats, or like his production from the producers make for him?
Mac Miller made mad beats. He actually, this is actually a perfect time to plug it in for you, because you mentioned you've been listening to Vince Staples, but Mac Miller produced a whole Vince Staples project.
Oh, wow.
It's true. And it's fire. But yeah, Mac Miller produced under the name like Fisherman, but he produced a lot of his own. Yeah, his production was really dope.
That's nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else coming up you want to plug right now and shit? You got any maybe an album? I don't know.
Yeah, well, let people know.
Right now, I've really focused on pushing the studio time and the studio sessions. I find it like I'd rather push that right now, because if I get too much inside my artist bag, I start neglecting my recording, and I will be divided too much. So I'm like, I have too many artists right now that are like, not too many. I have a few artists that I don't want to start going towards making music at the moment, because artists will be divided too much, you know? So like, I know people can do it, but right now I'm just pushing studio time and no projects coming up. But a lot of people got projects coming up. I got my homies, their name is High Def. They're super dope. Rez is dope. Who else I've been working with? There's another guy I met, and his name is Mark A, and he has a really cool sound. I just appreciate like working with artists that have a nice sound and stuff that's like good on my spirit, you know. They don't gotta be making like holy music, but like if it's not something that kind of like harms there's some frequencies that kind of just like a little bit too grimy for me. Like, though that's what I came up like recording a lot, I prefer it less now. Like, I prefer people speaking more. Yeah, I like people speaking more from their heart now. And to me, that's, even if it don't sound sonically the best, like when they're speaking from their heart, something about that does something. And you could just feel like, and it will give you chills sometimes when you hear people say stuff that's like very vulnerable. And like, that's what I like the most, is like artists just being not original, but being honest and true to themselves. I guess that is original. I don't know.
But that's honest music will always. That's one of my like biggest things, especially just on the review page in general, is like honest music will always shine through, because like you can attach to it more. Like, you know, we love movies, but we don't attach to every fucking movie we watch, you know. But when you have some real honest shit, there's bits and pieces that you can wholeheartedly be like, yo, that's me right now. This is this is, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's dope shit. But plug in let people know how they want to reach you, if you want people to reach you.
And plug in the studio as well for those who want some studio time in the area.
Yeah.
All right. Studio's called The Neighborhood Studio, spelled straight up. Instagram, I think it's the only spot you can find it. And then Vinny Vangoh, all one word. Wherever you can search it, it'll probably pop up. That's it. Those are really it.
Solid.
I do want to give you props on your bro. I love how you review the music, bro, because you're so honest sometimes, bro. And it's like, well, actually, you're so honest every time, but sometimes you don't mind. Like, it's honest, and it's like, you gotta. I love it, and I like when you show the artists that can handle the criticism and they're not offended, because that's cool. So like, I want to give props on that, because like, you're one of the first people I've seen reach out to people and then review them. I don't know if you're reaching out to review it or not, though. Actually, so I'll take that part off.
Usually at first we were hitting people up, but now they reach out, like, you know, we let people be known. But you know, it's clear communication. You know, if it isn't something I just grabbed off of, like, you know, the new iTunes drops. But
plus I send out a bunch of your shit to the single reviews all the time. So
that's it.
Hey man, we need that honesty in music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I get it. It's subjective, you know, for the most part. But it's like, you got to understand, not everybody's gonna love this. Not everybody's gonna love that. And you never know, like. Because I'm an artist myself, it's like, hey, I'm not doing this to shoot nobody down. I'm not doing this. I want to, some people I'm a little harsher on because I'm like, I know you can make fucking way better music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you can bring that shit. So it's like, come on, like, let's get after it. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that, man. I truly appreciate that. Like, I think the platform is something that artists need because it's for artists by artists. So fuck it, you know?
Even the ones that have like bad ratings, bro, like, you will want to check them out, so they will still get a view because I'm like, let me see how bad it was. Like, I'm not gonna, So you still, you actually will get more views for some reason because people, I don't know, I think I'm more interested. I'm like, let me see what he doesn't like about this, and then it's cool. I'm like,
and that's the human nature too. We attract to negativity for some reason. I think it's because the news. That's how the news shapes us and shit. But it's like, if I crack a very specific joke or anybody on the team cracks a specific joke about the review, you want to hear it. It's better than just saying the music's bad. Because if you just say it's bad, then it's boring. Nobody cares. But if I crack a joke like, he sound like Kermit the Frog on the song, everybody's like, they're like, I want to hear this. Just keep it real. And it helps, for the most part, it helps if someone, that's why I tell artists, I'm like, bro, good review, bad review is free press. I'm like, if you gave someone a red stamp and they shared it, everyone, like all their friends list is going to run it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their friends are going to run it.
Stamp, bro. For sure.
Yeah. And we encourage it. I tell them, like, send your people to come curse us out. Let's have a good time. Fuck it. It's not gonna hurt us. Like, we're good. Like, we already have paid shut down. Like, we're good. Like,
we'll just on again.
I gotta get some courage to send them to you guys. I sent you one song, and you guys are cool. You guys are very cool about the review. And I was just like, man, I gotta be careful because, like, I'm not ready for the flame. If I send something that's not, so I was like, I'm not. But then, you guys have reviewed one of my homies sent, and I was featured on it. That one was cool. One guy was like, what did it say? One guy was like trash, but
Wacko.
Wacko. Cool. I know he didn't really get a chance to listen to the song, but I wasn't tripping. I was like, man, tell me why it's trash. Let me know why. I think he was taking out the trash. He was feeling away. I don't know, but
but that's the fun of it.
That's the fun, bro. You gotta take the criticism, and it actually was like, it feels good because, like, I don't want telling you your shit's dope, bro. I like hearing, like, I don't know, I like that. It made me feel like, all right, cool. Like, when your shit's not just appreciated, because I feel like my friends will tell me my stuff's dope because of my friends. And that's cool.
Your friends,
yes, man. Why don't you yes, man?
If there's something like off about it, like, I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there something I could switch up? Something I could change? Like, if it's track out, I want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, I get cooked on the page. I've gotten a red stamp, and it's my page. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started the page, and I got a red.
I got a red stamp on my last project.
I gave you a red stamp. But, like, I reach out to people who I've given red stamps. Like, hey, I'm dropping a project. You want to review mine? You know what I'm saying? And I let it be, but I keep it real. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, it's fair game. It's for all of us.
You know? Very cool.
Yeah, it's for all of us. So it's like, gotta do what you gotta do. But I think that's you're done with the questions and all, right?
Yes, sir.
Want to say truly appreciate you jumping on here, chopping it up with us and all that good stuff, man. Everybody check them out. I'm gonna put everything in the description and all that good stuff. This is gonna drop next week. But the live I let stay up for a day. I'm only leaving it up a day now so people can jump in. But either way, truly appreciate you jumping in, chopping up with us, and I appreciate what you do, man. The triple threat thing, super, super valuable in this music. Real talk. So keep doing what you do, man, and let us know what's next.
Yes, sir. Hats off to you, man.
Thanks, Rex, for hitting me up. Thanks for you guys. Cool vibe. You guys got the whole podcast vibe down. Very easy. I wasn't sure. This is my first. I've interviewed kind of, but they weren't smooth. I think this is my first smooth interview, and nothing's ever dropped. So if this does drop, that's awesome. Either way, if it's live,
we take care of it. We got a running machine, man. We take care. We got a machine going here. We've been dropping shit aggressively. We're consistent.
I appreciate you guys' platform. Thanks for creating that. Thanks for putting me on it. Bro.
Hey, no doubt, man. Super dope. I appreciate that feedback, man. That shit means a lot. I pay attention to all that. I tell them, they see in the Discord, I pay attention to everything, and I appreciate that. But yo, we'll holla at you. Yo, hit us up if you ever need anything.
Yeah, same.
All right, will do.
Peace out, y'all, and everybody who joined in. We appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have yourself a good one. She said she got a question.
Oh wait, hold on. One more question.
We'll give you the last question.
I'll give one in the last one.
All right, so hold on to every beat I make.
Even the ones you don't.
I do, because it's like a little bit too much effort to delete them. But if it doesn't get saved, I trash plenty of beats that don't make it to the save button. But if it makes it to the save button, I'll keep it.
There you go.
Yeah. You did the same one.
Yeah.
That's bad. I respect that. That's a good one. But now, with that being said, her final question. We signing off, man. Yo, truly appreciate you. We getting up.
Have a good one, yeah. Peace.
Peace.